Hey everyone! So I worked super hard to try to get this video out quickly since you've been waiting so patiently for this true crime episode. This is a case I've been wanting to cover since the moment it hit the news. The trial for the murder suspect hasn't even started yet, but there's finally enough information out now to make things interesting. I'll start off by giving investigative facts and dates, followed by some court transcripts and a few final thoughts. For those of you who usually just listen to my videos, this might be worth watching so you can put faces with the various players in this case. Alright, let's get started. The following video contains violent content and may not be suitable for all viewers. Viewer discretion is advised.
去年7月、札幌すすきので起きた猟奇的な事件。ホテルの一室で62歳の男性の遺体が見つかり、首は切断され持ち去られていました。そして遺体の発見からおよそ3週間後に逮捕されたのは、
本日、被疑者2名を逮捕しましたので発表いたします。田村瑠奈、田村修。
逮捕されたのは札幌厚別区に暮らす家族で、無職の田村瑠奈被告、父親で医師の修被告、母親の弘子被告の3人です。
July 1st, 2023. On July 1st, 2023, the victim, Hitoshi Ura, and suspect, Runa Tamura, are seen entering a love hotel around 11 p.m. They ride the elevator up to the second floor where the lobby is. The security footage shows the two did not hold hands and Hitoshi can be seen pressing the touch panel to choose a room. He can be seen wearing a whitish blouse and a skirt and is holding two bags. He looks much younger than his 62 years. Runa has a black hat on with a white top and either white shorts or a white miniskirt with a black suitcase next to her. About 3 hours later, around 2 a.m., a person believed to be Runa is seen leaving the room by herself. According to the hotel staff, there's a phone call from the room that sounded like a female saying she was going to leave first, so to please open the door. If you've never been to a love hotel before, let me explain. They're very popular here in Japan. When you enter the lobby, you see a touchscreen or a wall with all the available rooms. If you have any questions, there's a phone you can pick up to talk to the hotel staff, but you'll never see their face and they won't see yours. They have different rates depending on the size and amenities available, and rooms that are already occupied are unselectable. You can usually select how long you want to stay there, from a couple of hours to half a day and even overnight. In fact, some people use love hotels when they travel because most of them are cheaper compared to regular hotels or Airbnbs, and most of the time have jacuzzis, big screen TVs, and even karaoke systems. So, after you select your room, the door will be automatically unlocked and you're good to go. Once you're in the room and the door closes, it's locked, so when your time is up, you have to pay via a machine that's set up at the entrance, and when that's finalized, the door will unlock and you can leave. Also, if you want to order food, you can make a call and they'll deliver it to your room via a little door next to the entrance. So as you can see, everything in a love hotel is totally anonymous. Wait, I take that back. I once tried to go to a pretty luxurious one in Fukuoka with a bunch of friends because we were out drinking and we wanted to continue hanging out with a nice karaoke system and continue drinking. If we split the overnight bill, it came out cheaper than going to a karaoke box. But we were stopped at the entrance because they couldn't allow more than 2 people per room. I guess they don't want any gangbangs happening. Anyway, it looked like a proper hotel, so there were people at the reception desk and everything. Now that you know how love hotels work, you can see why a call had to be made to be let out of the room before paying. Back to the case. The hotel staff didn't sense any panic or anything suspicious from the tone of voice, and the person, believed to be Runa, comes out of the room a few minutes later and exits the hotel. She'd changed her clothes and was now wearing black from head to toe. Her back looked enlarged, like she had a backpack on, but she wasn't seen going in with one. She walked out as nonchalantly as she had walked in, with a mask covering most of her face both times. July 2nd. Everything came to light at around 3 p.m. on July 2nd. The customer staying in the hotel had not checked out yet, so the staff, feeling suspicious, decided to go check the room. When they walked in, it seemed empty at first, until they peeked into the bathroom. Someone was still inside. The hotel staff thought it was a woman, and after calling out to her and getting no reply, they immediately called the paramedics. Once they arrived, they knew just from the sight of the body that the person was deceased because the head was missing. As they did a quick check on the body, they also discovered that it was a man. The police were then quickly called to help preserve the scene and start their investigation. The conditions of the room were as follows. Number 1, no strange smells. Number 2, unless either Hitoshi or Luna had proper bed-making experience, it was highly unlikely that the bed had been made after they did the deed, as the bed sheets and blankets were in the same condition as the cleaned, unoccupied rooms. Number 3, the amenities such as toothbrushes and tissues were also unused. According to the hotel staff, when they opened the bathroom door and went inside, they first saw the back of the person. The person was naked, was kneeling away from her and into the bathtub. It wasn't a scene out of a horror movie. There wasn't blood spattered across the walls or the floors. So they tried calling out to the person, but after getting no vocal response nor a physical response, they immediately felt scared and couldn't go in further to check on the body. Thinking the person was dead, they called 119. From the outline of the body, the employee assumed that it was a woman. July 4th. The victim was identified as 62-year-old office worker Hitoshi Ura from Eniwa City, Hokkaido Prefecture. He had left the house without telling his family and drove to Sapporo City, where he's believed to have met up with Runa, and then proceeded to the Love Hotel. His car was discovered in a parking lot within the city on the 4th. A male co-worker who had been working with Hitoshi for over 10 years is quoted as saying, "He wasn't a person who was resented by others. He was quiet, so I don't know how he could have gotten caught up in something like this." July 6th. After Hitoshi Ura's name was released in the media, tips came flooding in about him. On the 1st, he was spotted at a large nightclub event alone at Jasmak Plaza Hotel in Sapporo City, Hokkaido. Via surveillance cameras, Hitoshi was seen meeting up with Runa after the event and entered the Love Hotel together 15 minutes later. July 9th. It was discovered that Hitoshi had been taking part in disco events around the city and was into cross-dressing. For the next several days, not a lot of new information came out other than the following. Number 1. Except for the bathroom where the man was killed, the other areas of the hotel room had almost no signs of being used. Number 2. At the time Runa left the hotel, Hitoshi's mobile phone was turned off. Number 3. She left the hotel alone and headed west, but after about 80 meters down the road, she couldn't be spotted walking on any of the surveillance cameras down the street. Is it possible that someone came to pick her up by car? Number 4. No sleeping pills or any other drugs were detected from Hitoshi's autopsy. July 24th. Osamu Tamura, aged 59, and his daughter, Runa Tamura, aged 29, were arrested with the press hinting that Runa and the victim Hitoshi had known each other for a while and she might have had some kind of grudge against him. The father was a psychiatrist who also gave lectures and was well known locally. On the day of his arrest, the hospital he worked at released a statement.
We apologize for the concern caused by the report of one of our doctors getting arrested today. Like you, we only have the information that has been reported by the news, but we intend to cooperate fully with the police investigation. We will not be able to answer any questions at this time. Thank you for your understanding.
July 25th. The next day, after 7 a.m., Runa's mother, Hiroko, aged 60, was also arrested on suspicion of destruction and abandonment of a body. The entire family being arrested sent a shockwave across Japan. According to investigators, Hitoshi's head, which had started to rot, was found in the house the previous day, and the mother had known it was there. It also came to light that Runa and her mother had visited a retail store in Sapporo City before the murder and bought various items such as knives and suitcases. On this day, Runa's grandfather on her paternal side was interviewed over the phone and the following details about her were revealed. Number 1. Runa had a hard time getting along with others. If they didn't align with her expectations, she shut them out without question. Number 2. She quit school during her high school years. Number 3. After quitting school, she mostly stayed at home, but there was a short period of time when she went to night school. Number 4. According to his son, Runa's father, his wife never got mad at her, and watching that sometimes irritated him. Number 5. He always told Runa's parents that they needed to be responsible parents and watch her closely. Number 6. He sometimes spoke to Runa over the phone, but hadn't seen her in person for about 4 years. She apparently seemed normal when they last spoke. Regarding his son, Osamu, he said the following.
He initially wanted to be a surgeon, but fainted when he saw large volumes of blood during stomach surgery while he was an intern. After that, he decided to become a psychiatrist instead. He is kind and believes in himself and is mission-oriented. He would get calls from the hospital at all hours. For example, if a patient began to panic before going into surgery or became panicked after surgery because something didn't go as planned, and he would often go to see the patients straight away. Osamu was well-liked and everyone relied on him.
He ended the interview with the fact that they're all being questioned by the police, that he's taking everything with utmost seriousness and is prepared to take all the negative comments and bashing that may come their way in the near future. In another interview with Shueisha, one of Japan's leading publishers, he stated,
Hitoshi, the victim, first approached Runa while dressed as a woman and gained her trust and made her feel safe. Runa has never been married and she hates men. Other than her family members, she's never allowed men to enter her life. She had an extremely unique personality in that way. Well, Hitoshi took advantage of her. He told her there was a cool place, and Runa, fully believing he was a woman, followed him. They ended up in a love hotel, and as soon as they were in the room, he turned into a man, and he took advantage of her. I think they met at a nightclub or a karaoke bar.
The grandfather didn't know exactly when this occurred. He hadn't seen the entire family for 3 years, and the first time he heard this was when he spoke to her mother the day before she was arrested on July 24th, 2023. She told him that things were settled after the fact, to which he asked why they didn't report it to the police right away. Apparently, his son and his wife spoke to Hitoshi in person, and he swore he would never do it again and would never show his face in front of Runa. So that was that. Despite this promise, however, Hitoshi had apparently tried to contact Runa again at a later date, which eventually led to his gruesome murder. July 26th. The day after Runa's mother, Hiroko, was arrested, she told the investigators that her daughter and Hitoshi had a troubled past. An article in Shukanshi, a weekly magazine publication, suggested that his cross-dressing was a ruse to disarm women and to gain their trust before assaulting them. According to women working in fuzoku bars, Hitoshi had been banned from entering many fuzoku as well as happening bars. What's fuzoku, you may be wondering? Well, prostitution in Japan has existed throughout the country's history. While the anti-prostitution law of 1956 states that no person may either do prostitution or become the customer of it, loopholes, liberal interpretations, and loose enforcement of the law have allowed the sex industry to prosper and earn an estimated 2.3 trillion yen or $24 billion per year. In Japan, the sex industry, or fuzoku, which literally translates to public morals, is not synonymous with prostitution. Since Japanese law defines prostitution as intercourse with an unspecified person in exchange for payment, most fuzoku offer only non-coital services such as conversation, dancing, or bathing to remain legal. Now, do they actually have sex? I have no idea, but I wouldn't be surprised if sometimes they do, but that's just my opinion. Now for happening bars. This is the first time I've heard of it and had to look it up, and lo and behold, happening bars and couples kissa is a Japanese sex club. Here, prospective customers pass an initial vetting to become members, then pay an entrance fee to enter the club. The club will provide drinks which are often for free, rooms for sex, and shower facilities. Entrance to couple kissa is limited to male-female couples and single women, while a happening bar will also allow single men to enter, although typically at a steep surcharge, as much as 25,000 yen or $180, whereas a woman might enter for free. Yay for us! Just kidding. Entry is denied to those under 20, male groups, drunk or intoxicated people, and, in some establishments, foreigners. Happening bars and couples kissas skirt Japanese prostitution laws by neither providing nor promising actual sex on premises, instead stressing that what may or may not happen is entirely up to the customers. So anyway, according to a source from a fuzoku bar, it was revealed that Hitoshi went to nightclubs, fuzoku bars, and happening bars all the time, dressed as a woman, but his sexual interest was definitely in women. He would talk to them in a gay manner and would follow them around, causing them to feel extremely uncomfortable, and that's part of the reason why he got banned from several of them. I know what happened to him is awful, but he just sounds like such a creep. July 27th. New information came out that Hitoshi and Luna had gone out to eat at a restaurant on a few different occasions. Hiroko was arrested the day after Luna and her husband were arrested, and after Hitoshi's severed head was found in the upstairs bathroom, detectives surmised that Hiroko knew about the murder plot from its planning stage. The head was in such an advanced state of decomposition that dental records needed to be used to identify the victim. The cause of death was determined to be hemorrhagic shock from a stabbing wound, and his neck looked to be cut with some kind of knife. Luna's fingerprints were also not present inside the hotel room, which means she probably wore gloves and wiped down surfaces. This points to a well-organized crime that took a considerable amount of planning. August 1st. Women's clothing believed to be worn by Hitoshi on the night he got killed was found in Luna and her family's home. It's believed she took them with her to hinder the identification of his body. In addition, shocking new evidence was also found. A video footage of the aftermath of this bloody crime. Several knives were also taken from their home. August 3rd. As mentioned earlier, Hitoshi's head was found in the family home's bathroom, and the video footage looked to be taken in there. A gloved hand can be seen touching the head. The police at this stage doesn't know which of the three family members was touching the decapitated head. Another news outlet also reported that Luna had also taken a video of herself with the head, but police have not confirmed this. Upon further investigation, police found out that Luna and Hitoshi had met in late May at a nightclub. Club footage was released where Luna is seen with her hand in the air and having a great time. She's then seen hugging and having a conversation with Hitoshi, who is under disguise. It also came to light that her father, Osamu, drove the getaway car on the night of the murder. August 12th. The autopsy results revealed that Hitoshi was stabbed multiple times in the back and neck from behind while he was in the shower. The one that almost reached his lungs was the cause of death. It's also believed his hands were tied behind his back at the time. I read on another website that at this time Luna had taken interest in bondage and wanted to try it out, and she'd actually talked to her parents about it. Now, I don't think it's normal for an almost 30-year-old woman to confide in her parents about her sexual fantasies. And also, according to the article that I read, the father practiced with her, which just crosses so many lines. I don't think they actually undressed and engaged in the act. I'm assuming Luna practiced how to tie ropes and that kind of thing with her father. Creepy as hell. Okay, so after killing him, Luna took Hitoshi's phone and smashed it with a tool such as a hammer that she'd brought with her. His SIM card was later found inside Osamu's car on August 15th. Hitoshi's driver's license, wallet, and multiple knives were also recovered from their home. A raincoat with bloodstains was also found, and the police are investigating whether Luna had worn it while committing the crime in order to keep from getting drenched with blood. Further details were also released regarding the video footage. The person, now believed to be Luna, is seen touching the neck area gingerly with gloved hands. Considering the angle of the shot, police suspect either her mother or father was holding the camera. During interrogation, Luna said at one point that she met Hitoshi for the purpose of getting paid to be his companion. August 13th. Another unbelievable fact came to light. It turns out that Luna's father was at the same nightclub in late May when Luna supposedly met Hitoshi for the first time. So does this mean the two men met this night as well? When I first read this, I thought to myself, how creepy is this father? Following his grown-ass daughter's every move, practicing bondage with his daughter. Mind you, I don't know if that article is credible, and that's why I didn't really go into much detail. But if it is true, like I said, so messed up. So yeah, at first glance, so far with all the information that I've revealed, I don't blame you if you think the father's just a whack job. But keep listening and let's see if your opinion of him changes. August 18th. Luna's parents' lawyer made the following statement to the press.
There was a report that Hiroko told the police she wanted to stop her daughter's crime from happening, but she was powerless to do so. That report is false. Although going shopping and picking her up and dropping her off are facts, there are many false assumptions to the purpose and intent to these actions. In addition, what has been published in the press as facts, although not all, also have some mistakes in them. Osamu and Hiroko had no idea their daughter was planning this horrific act. Neither of them conspired in the murder nor the abandonment of the body. They only found out after the fact. As for the press, I would like to ask you to stay up to date with the investigation and think twice before publishing anything to the general public.
Now, as for buying knives with Luna, apparently she had a hobby of collecting knives, so her parents didn't think it strange when they went shopping together that day. As for dropping her off near the hotel that night, she had apparently told them that she was meeting a male friend, and that was it. So far, the dad seems creepy as hell and his relationship with his daughter seems off. I also can't help but feel like Luna has some psychological issues. So let's explore this a bit more. Commentary from Professor Yasuyuki Deguchi of Tokyo Future University. Professor Yasuyuki Deguchi is a criminal psychologist and specializes in psychoanalysis of juvenile criminals nationwide in juvenile detention centers and prisons. He is now a professor at Tokyo Future University and has been the director of child psychology since 2013. He also serves as an expert committee member of the Metropolitan Police Department and an Adachi Ward crime prevention advisor. He noted the following regarding Luna.
Even when Luna went to clubs, her father was seen nearby. It appears he always kept her under surveillance and maintained an environment where he could rescue her if necessary. In that sense, he may have been a helicopter parent.
The term helicopter parent originates in the US and refers to parents who hover over their children like helicopters, monitoring everything and intervening immediately when problems arise. Having long worked in the Ministry of Justice, conducting psychological evaluations in prisons and juvenile detention centers, he emphasizes,
In all the psychological analyses I've conducted, not once has parenting style been irrelevant to delinquency or criminal behavior.
Regarding this case, he commented,
Parents can feel their own sense of meaning and worth by being needed and depended upon by their children. The reverse is also true. In this case, we see a mutual dependency between the parent and child.
To understand how parenting affects children, psychologists often use a framework called the Simmons classification, created in 1939. The American psychologist classified parenting styles into 4 categories. Forgive me if any of you are familiar with his work. I translated it from Japanese, so some of the terminology may be incorrect. I tried to look into him in English, but all I got was scientific articles and textbook results, and I didn't have the patience to scour through hundreds of pages. So, the following are the 4 categories. 1. Control, which is commanding or coercive behavior. 2. Submission, which is always yielding to the child. 3. Protection, which is excessive care and sheltering. 4. Rejection, which is cold or dismissive behavior toward the child. You can then mix and match the 4 to get 1. Control and protection, which is the overprotective type. 2. Submission and protection, which is the spoiling type. 3. Control and rejection, which is the oppressive type. And 4. Submission and rejection, which is the neglectful type. So what type of parenting did Osamu Tamura display? While it's still unclear, Professor Deguchi suggests,
It seems he leaned toward overprotectiveness since he was closely involved in her day-to-day life. However, it's also possible he was overly submissive to his daughter. If that's the case, then it might be the spoiling type. It's still too early to tell definitively.
According to Deguchi, children raised by overprotective parents often lack resilience and develop dependent tendencies because they're deprived of opportunities to grow. He concludes,
It's crucial to teach children where the line is, what's acceptable and what's not. Monitoring parenting habits on a regular basis is essential.
Now, the following takes a glimpse into some of Osamu and Hiroko's court hearings that occurred in 2024. If the case isn't already disturbing enough, hearing some of the actual words Luna has said sends a chill down my spine. Something is definitely not right with this girl, and I cannot wait to hear what the results of her psychiatric evaluation is. She's now going through a second round of it, and once those details become available, I'll post an update. October 1st, 2024. On this day, a trial was held at the Sapporo District Court. For the first time, audio data of Luna Tamura was made public. During the hearing, the defense conducted a witness examination of the father, Osamu, revealing detailed testimony about how Runa met the victim and her state when she went into the hotel. I tried to find the audio recordings, but I couldn't, so I'm just going to read you the transcript that I found. On this day, the fourth court session for the mother, Hiroko, was held at the Sapporo District Court. A court reporter explained the trial's proceedings. Hiroko Tamura is charged with assisting in the abandonment of a corpse for allowing Runa to hide the victim's severed head in their home, and with assisting in the mutilation of a corpse for helping when Runa asked to have the mutilation recorded on video, which she then requested her husband Osamu to film. The defense claims that Runa orchestrated the entire incident and that Hiroko was unable to resist her daughter's demands due to the highly abnormal dynamics in the household. During the defense's examination of Osamu, he explained what Runa had said around the time she met the victim. Audio data recorded on the night of June 1st, 2023, just a few days after Runa had first met and had sexual relations with the victim, Hitoshi, was played in court. In the recording, Runa Tamura can be heard saying things like,
"I make him think he's in control, like he's acting on his own will. That's the basic rule of the game. Make him think that while I'm actually the one holding the reins. If I deliberately act aggressively and take the lead, I don't have to force him as much to behave the way I want him to. Do you know how I felt when I sucked him off? It was like I felt nothing. I might as well see how far I can go playing the slut."
These statements presented in court highlighted Runa's manipulative mindset and the psychological dynamics leading up to the crime. The night she met Hitoshi for the first time was May 28, 2023. Osamu went to pick her up and he wrote down everything she told him so he wouldn't forget. This is what he said in court.
"My daughter met up with the guy. She thought they were going to karaoke, but he took her to a love hotel. She took it on as an experience out in the real world and agreed. He wanted sex, and she told him the rules. No recording, turn off his mobile phone, and to wear a condom. He agreed, and they did it 4 or 5 times. On their last session, he took his condom off, and she told him he broke his promise. He tried to play it off like it was an accident, but apologized and basically ran out of there."
Let me butt in here one more time. Like I said, it's really weird for a grown woman to divulge her sexual relations with her parent. Do you guys do that? I certainly don't, but what do you guys think about this? I'm not crazy, am I? Let me know what you guys think. It's not normal, is it? All right, back to the case. When the judge asked for details of what he'd actually written in his notebook, he read the following as if he were reading just another book.
"French kiss? Okay. He took me to a love hotel, and I figured it would be a good life experience."
He continued to respond calmly to the judge's questions.
"Do you think Runa was curious about having sex?" "Yes, I believe so." "Was this the first time she had sex?" "I think it was." "How was she when you picked her up afterwards?" "She was worried that she might be pregnant or had contracted a sexually transmitted disease because the final act was done without a condom."
The defense's strategy was to show that Osamu was unaware at the time of how deeply Runa resented Hitoshi, so much so that she wanted to kill him. Regarding Runa's feelings toward the victim 3 days after the sexual encounter, Osamu said,
"I thought that if she confronted him and he apologized, things could be repaired. If he didn't apologize, then that would be the end of their relationship."
When speaking about Runa's emotions towards Hitoshi, Osamu stated,
"Honestly, I thought the best outcome would be for her feelings to just fade away over time."
But contrary to her father's hopes, her emotions didn't fade. They intensified. After this, another audio recording was released to the public. In it, you can hear Runa yelling,
Get lost! I'm gonna fucking kill you guys! This is how my sister and I have made it this far.
And in English, she says,
I'm gonna get revenge. I'm gonna kill you. You're gonna kill me. I'm gonna kill you. Who will you choose?
and her father can be heard saying,
I don't kill any.
as in he won't kill anyone. The defense attorney then asks the mother who Luna meant by her little sister, and she replies,
That's her soul.
The defense attorney asks who's speaking, and the mother says,
Her name is Cynthia. Does Cynthia despise you and your husband?
The defense attorney asks, and she replies,
Cynthia believes Luna died because of us, so yes, she hates us.
On Hiroko's 7th hearing on December 12, 2024, more information came to light regarding Luna. There's really no end to it, so I'll go over what happened in this hearing. It will give you an extremely good idea of Luna's mental state and what was going on behind closed doors. Apparently, the parents couldn't refer to Luna by her name since she was about 19 or 20 years old. Luna apparently wanted to die before she turned 18, which I can't go into detail here because it goes against YouTube guidelines, but let's just say she tried various ways to end her life before she turned 20 years old. It was after this that she said Luna was dead and 5 to 6 other personalities surfaced as well as a zombie delusion. As mentioned just before, one of her personalities was called Cynthia, and there was also one called Lulu, Baby, and another man whose name Hiroko couldn't remember. But she remembers all of them talked completely differently from one another, and that Cynthia had told Hiroko that the man was scary. Luna also began to refer to her mother as she in English and her father as driver. She couldn't leave the house by herself, but went to game centers and nightclubs with her dad as the chauffeur. Remember the photo we saw earlier of her dad at the same nightclub as her? I think she actually needed and wanted him to be there. Her room was a huge mess like a hoarder's mess, and although Hiroko tried to tidy up and throw things away a few times, Luna's angry and crazy outbursts led her to stop trying. Sometimes she would be so mad that she'd tell her parents to leave the house so she could be alone for a while, and so they would. And they would kill time somewhere outside before coming back to their home, back to their calm daughter. Alright, if you've only been listening up to this point, you guys need to look at your screen for the next few photos. They were taken from a nightclub that Luna frequently went to. I mean, what? Can anybody explain to me how you'd feel safe in a place like this? Fake blood splatter and decapitated heads everywhere, dismembered hands and torsos with innards spilling out of their guts, and an extremely real-looking head. Maybe Luna got her ideas from this place? God only knows, but I certainly wouldn't be surprised if that were the case. Whoever thought up of this concept and those who go here for fun definitely have a screw loose up there. What a horrible and extremely gory place to go to have fun. According to Luna's grandfather, there's suspicion that she suffers from some type of mental disorder, but he's not sure what. Luna's father, Osamu, who's a psychiatrist, knew he couldn't treat his own family, and when she was in her second year of middle school, he took her to see another doctor. Listening to his advice, they pulled her out of regular school and enrolled her into a free school, which is a private educational facility in Japan that provides alternative learning environments outside the traditional school system. They support children who are unable to attend regular school or who struggle to adapt to the conventional school environment. They offer a variety of activities, individualized learning programs, counseling, and hands-on experiences, taking into consideration the child's personality, needs, and circumstances. These schools are extremely expensive in Japan, so Luna was really lucky that her parents had the means to send her to a school like this. Now, even with all of this, by the time she was 18 years old, she had completely stopped going to school and had become a recluse. In addition, I don't know exactly when Osamu started doing this, but he began recording Runa's violent outbursts to get a second opinion from another psychiatrist. These are the recordings that were played in court. So let's just say that it seems he was trying to do the right thing by her. On March 12, 2025, the Sapporo District Court sentenced Osamu Tamura, now 61 years old, to 16 months in prison, suspended for 4 years, although prosecutors sought a 10-year sentence. This means his sentence will not be enforced for 4 years, provided he meets certain conditions. The court determined that assisting in murder was not applicable, but he was found guilty of aiding in the abandonment of the body, among other charges. Both the prosecution and the defense have filed appeals. On March 7, 2025, his wife Hiroko, now 62 years old, was found guilty and she was sentenced to 14 months in prison, with the sentence suspended for 3 years. This means the sentence will not be enforced for 3 years provided she meets certain conditions. She was charged with aiding in the abandonment and mutilation of a corpse. Runa has been indicted on charges of murder, destruction, and abandoning a corpse. She is currently undergoing a second round of psychiatric evaluations, and her trial is not expected to begin anytime soon. According to the testimony of Runa's grandfather, it seems he loved his daughter a bit too much. He felt that his son was being too overprotective. He said their relationship was great and his world revolved around her. But now that we have a better understanding of what their family dynamic was and how crazy Runa actually is, I can sort of see where this overprotective and hovering parenting style came from. He could probably see from a young age that she was a troubled child, and he probably felt powerless to stop it. When I first started researching this case, I was creeped out by the dad and thought how useless the mother was to allow their child to get this way. But the more I discovered, the more I began to feel sympathetic for them, although I absolutely do not condone what they did in order to try to protect their daughter. I'm looking forward to Runa's trial. Her first pretrial proceedings occurred on September 5th, 2024, but everything has been kept out of the media and her trial date is yet to be set. And that is the end of this video. I hope I was able to give you enough information about what this case was all about and the psychological aspects behind it. I don't know if I've ever mentioned this in my previous videos, but when I was younger, I wanted to become a forensic psychologist. But my mum talked me out of it, saying that it was too dark and it was too depressing and that it would be too much. But I really do wish that I had gone through with it because I find this case really, really fascinating. The fact that Runa seems to have major psychological issues and the family dynamic between the three is just so interesting to me. What Professor Yasuyuki Deguchi from Tokyo Future University said about Osamu's parenting style being too overprotective and also too submissive makes so much sense. Somewhere along the way, Runa became the boss of the family, not allowing her parents to call her by name, and she herself didn't refer to her mother and father as mum and dad, but rather she and driver. I also find it interesting that Runa's personalities are not Japanese and she speaks in English a lot. I wonder why that is. And also, could it all just be a game for her? Like maybe she doesn't actually have dissociative identity disorder and maybe she's just a psychopath or a sociopath and she's smart enough to pretend to have other personalities to scare her parents and make them do what she wants. Sociopaths have a conscience, albeit a weak one, and will often justify something they know to be wrong. By contrast, psychopaths will believe that their actions are justified and feel no remorse for any harm done. So this differentiation may suggest that nature plays more of a role in the creation of a psychopath than a sociopath, and so I'm thinking maybe she's just plain old psycho, and she knows exactly what she's doing. And that's why I cannot wait to hear what Luna will be diagnosed with. I'm sure she's suffering from something. And don't worry, you'll know when I know. Thank you for sticking with me till the end. I hope you enjoyed this true crime case. I haven't done one in a really, really long time. And although there was too much information out there, I had a really fun time going through everything and translating it for you guys. All right, I hope you have a great week ahead. I'll see you again real soon. Cheers.